permit for a private proprietary club. The project name is Glenmary Club at 10200 Glenmary Farm Drive. Chris French is the case manager. You've already been sworn in. We just need you to identify yourself with name, address, and zip code.
Chris French, Planning and Design Services, 444 South Fifth Street. Madam Chair, I will point out that we did receive some information late on Friday that the board would need to, accept if they wanted to review it. I think legal counsel has reviewed that and may want to kind of chime in on the importance of that information.
Thank you. Attorney Ferguson?
Yes, we had received some correspondence with some exhibits. Some exhibits had some legal arguments, and there was also a noise study. It came in after the deadline, so the board could choose to not accept the document, although they could certainly testify about that same information at the hearing, or they could choose, or the board could choose to accept that document and consider that information. But obviously, accepting the document now won't give you time to review the contents of the document in the middle of the hearing and won't give the applicant time to consider the document. So if you're inclined to admit the document, my recommendation would be that we continue the case, to a date that works for both sides and set a deadline for any interested parties, the applicant to respond, any supplemental. That's sort of your options. You can move forward and they certainly can provide testimony that works off of the documents they supplemented and proceed that way today, or accept the document, but then we would need to continue because the other side would need to. So that's where the board is in terms of their options, but we wanted to address that early on.
Thank you. I completely understand what has happened, and members of the board, if you want to accept this information that came in after the deadline, because it has legality issues and also a noise study, I don't know how we can accept it today without have looked at it ourselves. So I think we probably need to continue this case. I'm hoping that you could agree with me.
I totally agree. If there's evidence or documentation that is pertinent to this case, then we should accept it and then also reschedule to another date so we all have time to review it.
I agree, given the concerns related to noise.
Okay, and I would also need to have a date to continue, date certain to continue. I saw somebody saying it.
The attorney for the applicant and the attorney for the opposition are both here.
If I could, my name is Jeff McKenzie. I'm with Denton, Springham, Greenbaum, National City Tower, now PNC Tower, 40202. Just very quickly, certainly the parties were aware of this. I dislike the opportunity to be able to delay anything by filing at the last minute. We received this notice with this probably less time than you, even to review it. So I had a funeral attending on Friday, so even had it been filed at the last second there, I didn't really get a hold of this until this morning. I can address those issues if you'd like to in this hearing. This is of some consequence to us because of a consistent delay. The parties are involved in litigation in another matter that's not as pertinent here, and this is hardly the forum to go into that. It was a 7-page letter along with numerous exhibits, the first 3 pages of which are recital of the litigation and their issues in that litigation. I would ask that you think about that in this consideration. Certainly I'd like to have all the information there in front of you, but the repeated opportunity of folks to be able to delay a case by filing something that we can't react to and then asking for a because they caused the delay and when they've known about this. In fact, members of the board of the Homeowners Association have had this and been tweeting about and putting information out about this hearing for some time. So, and again, we met all of the notice requirements in our notice to all parties, both first and second tier pursuant to all the regs. And it's conclusive that if we've met those requirements, that is not a reason for invalidation of this hearing. So I would ask that you consider that. And then just the impact of delay, just getting on the docket here is substantial. Thank you.
Yes, you may be heard. And You will have to tell us who you are with name, address, and zip code. Should I have sworn them in?
And then once we get into the hearing, right now, we're just talking
Oh.
about this one issue. I think we're
Oh.
fine for right now.
Okay.
I'm the author of the letter.
Get closer to the mic.
Yes, I'm the author of the letter. My name's Don Cox, 500 West Jefferson Street, Louisville, Kentucky, 40202. And the statements that we knew about this are absolutely false. I have the president of the Homeowners Association here, and he will testify that the first we learned about this hearing today was on Friday. I didn't learn about it until I got back from the doctor's office today. So we have not had an opportunity to fully prepare for this. And in addition, I had a fairly long conversation with staff about the service of notice. And in this case, the obvious party at issue is the Glenmary Homeowners Association. There are 800 homes there. The association's been around for forever. And if you look at the notice of who was served, it has 4 different addresses for the Homeowners Association, none of which are right. They have, again, Mr. Thompson, he is the agent for service of process. They didn't send him a copy. We, as he indicated, we have a lawsuit, and right on the face of the lawsuit, the right address is there. So we would like to have a fair opportunity to explain to this board why this so-called club should not be established. And I think the idea of a postponement so that there's no question about the efficacy of our submissions makes a lot of sense. And particularly since we didn't get notice, proper notice, I think it's mandated that we have a postponement.
I need to have Chris French come to the podium, please, because if you have a neighborhood association, you should have already been a part of our list. So do we have Glenmary as a neighborhood association?
So the neighborhood associations only get notified through the Gov Delivery email system. So they would have to be registered with the council district to receive the emails.
That's why I'm asking the question. I wanted it to be clarified.
Correct. And I don't know for sure whether they are part of the register of the
Okay,
email
and
system or not.
so, okay,
Now, in terms of the property owner notice, it's first and second tier property owners. And then we do current resident for those that are rental properties.
right. So, I mean, it's not that we didn't notify. We notified who we were supposed to notify according to the law.
That's my understanding, yes.
That's my understanding as well. Thank you.
The list notified on here is the Glenmary Association, our Glenmary Farm Drive, and at Stonebreaker Road again, and at 10604 Colonel Hancock Drive. However, if you look then
Well, we don't get into a lawsuit that is not a part of our request.
press on it, so they knew the address, the right address. That's the right address.
And again, we served notice properly on all those parties, and Mr. Cox could also confirm that members of the Homeowners Association management, which is a member, I think 6 different people or 5 different people, and some of those were also received notice. So that's, again, there's a reason why you have the section that you have to protect you, section 11.5A5, that you can rely conclusively upon the list that you've sent out and that we meet tiers 1 and 2. This is exactly why he's trying to bring this out so we can try and delay this case further. This is about something else. We'd like to make our proposal here today. Mr. Cox is here and has spent the time and dedicated the time to be here. So as long as we're here, let's go through that. I don't think there's anything of consequence in his letter that brings any news to the rest of the issues being raised and have already been dispensed of by your staff.
Okay, members, if you are inclined to look at the documents that came in after the deadline, we can continue to next Monday. Because you know you have a hearing next Monday. So it's up to you all. If you want to continue, someone would have to make a motion to continue to next Monday if you're so inclined to look at this information that has come forward after the deadline.
Do we need to talk about this or can I make a motion?
If you have an issue that you need to, no, right now I need to hear what my members want to say.
My opinion, if I may share it.
It's your opinion, you
Okay.
may share it.
I feel that we should continue based on this information. I think it's
Right,
prudent.
so you've read some of the information and it looks pretty crucial to you. And
I've not read, but I've heard that these studies and whatnot would probably
even though they
be
can't
useful for us to,
you don't have a problem with people continuously not following our policy to be online, to meet deadlines. That's my problem. And somewhere we've got to start teaching people that you either meet deadlines or don't bring the stuff to us. I'm getting tired of this.
Madam Chairman, can I ask a question?
Yes,
So
you may.
if we proceed today, don't they have the right to talk about it when they're doing their presentation? I mean, can't that just be additional information that people
Yes,
present to us?
they can discuss the material that was in the documents. They just won't be able to introduce, I mean, the document itself isn't in there at this point,
I see.
but they can talk about it.
And it's up to a majority of you. All you have to do is make a motion and then the majority can rule. But I'm the chair and I'm just stating my personal opinion. We have a policy. It should not be broken every time somebody decides they're going to be late. And that's just me. You all can do what you want to. You can vote.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
I'm sorry. No, he's already said he wanted to make one. Or did you make it?
I have. not-
Go right ahead.
Go ahead, make your
Oh,
motion.
Please.
It's all right. The more I talk, the less I can talk. Go ahead. Thank you.
Yes, with regard to case number 22 CUP 0175, I move that we continue this case to next Monday,
November 7th
November 7th.
to continue.
To continue, yes. To continue so that we can review the new information that has been sent to us.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Mr. Horton.
Okay, it's been
And
I'm
I'm
sorry.
going to add one clarification. Do we want to set a date by which any responses or other commentary on that new information can be filed? Like till this Thursday, close of business?
Sure.
Okay.
That sounds fair. That we will also set a date to this Thursday, the 3rd, November 3rd, for responses from the opposition.
And that they will meet the deadline at what time?
It will meet the deadline by 5 p.m.
And it's any interested party, I would.
and it would be any interested party.
That means there would be no discussion if information comes in after that deadline. We would not be in the same
Correct.
position we're in today.
We will
Okay.
not.
Was that an addendum to your motion?
Yes.
Okay, I'll second that also. Mr. Horton.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded, and the amendment has also been agreed to and seconded. Are there any other questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Horton,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Buttorf,
No,
Leonhardt. Leonhardt,
Can you come back to me?
yes.
circle back.
Bozos,
Yes.
Howard,
No.
Leonhardt,
No.
What is it?
Failed.
Are we
To
still,
tie.
are
It's a
we
tie,
tied
and we
again?
failed. Yeah, the motion fails.
Oh, stars.
Yeah, it's 3-3.
it is 3-3.
Well, unless someone's gonna change their mind, the tie causes it for the motion to go through. Is that correct? That's what we've been told in the past.
Tie, the motion fails.
Well, it didn't, well, but if no one decides to change their mind, then the tie motion stands. I mean, the motion stands to approve what they approve. That's what we did before. Yes, it is.
Robert's not here.
That's what they did before for that, oh, this is gonna fail too.
Tie, we're not
Okay, in the
voting.
absence of a tie, that fails, so we're gonna do what?
We go forward with the hearing, but it sounds like we don't want to allow.
Okay, well, we're gonna go forward today with the public
Unless you
hearing.
want to take a separate vote on allowing the document.
Well, no one came forward to take a second motion on the document.
We just finished the one.
No, and I asked if there is anyone else who wants to change their motion to have another motion, and that didn't happen. So I'm ready to hear the hearing. I don't know, the motion failed.
I just want to say one thing. You know, we're against a hard stop today. I just want everybody to know that. And in the interest of that, if this is going to be a long case, it would probably behoove everybody to wait a week. That's,
I agree.
now I'm rethinking it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness to everybody, we got people behind them, there are short cases, but we've got a hard stop. And I'm afraid that to give it the time that it needs,
I'm
that
not
it
sure that it
deserves.
needs it. But go ahead.
But right,
I don't think you need to assume that this is a long case.
Well, I object.
I know now that you say that, he'll do his best to lengthen this case as much as possible to delay it, but
I'm sorry.
I believe we'll do.
That's really offensive.
I'm sorry. Don.
And I object to interjecting when the board is pressing a motion that's on the table. I don't believe that's.
Our
Can I
attorney,
ask a question real
Sure.
quick? So was there notification out on the property that this was happening?
Physically
Yes,
on the property.
yes.
Was it on the property where it was visible to the neighborhood and the folks in the neighborhood?
Yes.
No,
Go out there, Don.
no, I didn't go out there.
Thank
but
you.
It's in
Let's
the
hear the
middle of
case.
23.
Let's just hear the case then.
okay, we've got something going on here. Is that allowed? There's three commissioners, three board members talking over there. Is that allowed without other people hearing?
Come on, if
Yes.
to be discussing.
Yeah, he said we
Fair.
should be, you all, we have to discuss
That's
this
on-
way.
Yeah,
She's talking to you.
Yes, I'm
all.
sorry.
yeah, if we're gonna, if either we're gonna move forward with the case, or if you're gonna take another action, we need to be discussing it on the.
Okay, I'm going to change my vote to yes. But wait a week. Correct? Is that, can I do that? That way it'll give us time to study it. So,
With the dates that we discussed, so November 7th.
All the time and all of that. So I'm sure I should be up here. Since you changed your vote, then it still means that any information that comes forward by next week would have to be here this Thursday
By 5.
by 5 p.m. Otherwise, we are not going to hear any other information other than what's been presented to us now. Right? Because we haven't heard any of the case. All right. Who's got somebody is.
back here, it's.
Yeah, but I'm not sure I can I have him come forward? This was just supposed to have been to hear, I mean, he's the owner of the property, so I guess we can.
Sure.
Thank you for the time. It's Chris Thieneman. And as you saw, He wasn't out there. I literally watched the city stamp it into the ground. I literally watched them and my team, and which I'll have, my office manager went over there and asked them what they were doing, and they told us exactly it was for this meeting. I'm also going to be able to prove to you that there was a lady that was on the board. I don't know if she's still on it, but last month she was temporarily on the board, and all over Facebook, come on, this meeting, you got to be there. You got to be there. She knows, they know, and it's sad because they wait to the last minute. They've known since October.
Hold it for a week.
Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah,
I just
yeah.
want you to know.
Yeah,
what
well,
we-
that's
what-
okay. It's on record right now, and it'll be on record next week as well. Okay?
Thank
That's
you
okay.
very much.
Okay. Because that's no problem. Yeah, I'm gonna move on, but I'm gonna talk to you all after everything's over. Case number 22 CUP 0242. This is a case at 104 Wiltshire Avenue